A warm welcome to all of you. Today we are discussing about nervous system part 3. Mainly there are two major divisions are there in nervous system. First one, central nervous system or CNS. It includes brain and spinal cord. This spinal cord contained within the vertebral column. The next division of nervous system, that is peripheral nervous system. This peripheral nervous system includes the nerves that emerges from the brain and spinal cord, as well as the nerves that enter into brain and spinal cord. Here you can see, then these all is nerves, we call it as peripheral nerves. Then the nerves that enter into brain and spinal cord and the nerves that emerges from the brain and spinal cord is coming under peripheral nervous system. Let us discuss about central nervous system. Then all of you know that central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. Yes, we can study the brain in detail. The human brain is the largest among all animals. The brain is very delicate organ, well protected inside the brain box or cranium of the skull. Then brain is protected by skull. The adult brain weighs about 1.35 kg and constitutes about 2% of the total body weight. It is 80% water and consumes more than 25% of the total oxygen taken into the body. Then in the total oxygen taken into the body, in that 25% is used by brain. The outer covering of the brain, we call it as meninges. The brain is protected by three membranous covering that all together we call it as meninges, which continue backward on the spinal cord. Then the meninges covering we can see in spinal cord also. Mainly three layers are there in meninges. Yes, three membranous coverings are there. First layer, the outer layer of meninges, that is dura mater. Here you can see the outermost tough fibrous membrane. The tough fibrous membrane, we call it as dura mater. Then middle layer, that is arachnoid. The thin delicate middle layer gives a web-like cushion. Then like spider webs. Yes, you know that this term is coming under this web-like means spider. Spider is coming under Arachnidae family. Then from that this term is originated, arachnoid. The thin delicate middle layer gives a web-like cushion. Then the last layer, innermost layer, that is highly vascular membrane that's supplied with blood. Vascular membrane richly supplied with blood. Then that is the pyometer is the innermost layer of meninges. Then dura mater is the outermost layer that is made up of fibrous membrane. Then the middle layer, that is arachnoid, it gives a web-like cushion. Meningitis is one of the important terms you have to remember. What is meningitis? Meningitis is the inflammation of the meninges. This inflammation happens due to bacterial action. Cerebrospinal fluid or CSF. The full form of CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid. Yes, this is very much related with brain. Then where is it located? The space between the covering membranes is filled with watery fluid that is called a cerebrospinal fluid. Then this is located in the space between the covering membranes of meninges. Then it also fills the central spaces of the brain and the central spaces of the spinal cord. Here you can see in central spaces of the brain that we call it as ventricles of the brain and the central spaces of the spinal cord. This is the location of cerebrospinal fluid. All of you know that cerebrospinal fluid is a non-circulating fluid. We already learned that in circulatory system, right? Non-circulating fluid. Then this cerebrospinal fluid is an example of non-circulating fluid. Then what is the function of this cerebrospinal fluid? Cerebrospinal fluid acts like a cushion to protect the brain from shocks. Very important. It acts like a cushion to protect the brain from shocks. Let us discuss about the parts of the brain. Mainly three parts we can see in brain. First part, cerebrum. It is the largest part of the brain, cerebrum. Then cerebellum. Cerebellum is present, the base of the cerebrum. Then the other part, that is medulla oblongata, that also called as brainstem. The first part, that is cerebrum. What is cerebrum? Cerebrum is the largest portion of the brain. It is divided into two halves called cerebral hemisphere. The outer surface is highly convoluted with ridges and grooves. Higher number of convolutions, larger number of nerve cells. What is the meaning of that? If that convolutions are more, yes, then the nerve cells also will be more. Then a greater intelligence. That person has greater intelligence. Then subconscious and unconscious mind is located in the cerebrum. Subconscious and unconscious mind is located in the cerebrum. Cerebrum consists of two main regions. The outer cortex region, that also known as cerebral cortex. This cerebral cortex consists of grey matter. Grey matter always consists of perikaryon or cell bodies of neuron. Grey matter means it consists of cell bodies of neuron or perikaryon of neuron. Then where it is located in the cerebrum? Grey matter is located in the outer cortex region of the cerebrum. Outer portion of the cerebrum contains cell bodies of the neurons and is greyish in color is called grey matter. The layer of grey matter which is folded to form convolutions. Here you can see convolutions. The folds are called gyri and the grooves are called sulci. Here you can see clearly the foldings. These are the foldings that we call it as gyri, but grooves here, that grooves, dark color portion, that grooves we call it as sulci. What is the function of this outer cortex? It increases surface area to accommodate more nerve cells. Because of these foldings of outer cortex, that is gyri and sulci are present, then because of that it increases the surface area to accommodate more nerve cells. The next region of cerebrum, that is cerebral medulla, also known as inner medulla. Yes, that is the inner region of cerebrum, that is inner medulla or cerebral medulla. Then here you can see this is cerebral medulla, that is inside, not the outer region. Outer region we call it as outer cortex. Cortex region consists of grey matter, but inner region of the cerebrum, it is cerebral medulla, consists of white matter. Then this white matter contains axons of neurons. Always white matter contains axons of neurons. You have to remember in cerebrum, this grey matter is in the outer cortex region and the white matter in the inner medulla region. The next important term you have to remember related with cerebrum, that is corpus callosum. Very important. What is corpus callosum? It is a sheet of fibers connecting the two cerebral hemispheres. Here you can see, yes, two cerebral hemispheres are there. Then these two cerebral hemispheres are connecting by a sheet of fibrous structure. These fibers, sheet of fibers, we call it as corpus callosum. What is the function of this corpus callosum? Here you can see corpus callosum. What is the function of this corpus callosum? This corpus callosum transfer information from one hemisphere of cerebrum to another hemisphere of cerebrum. What is the function of cerebrum? Cerebrum is the seat of intelligence, consciousness and willpower. All of you know that subconscious and unconscious mind is located in the cerebrum. The highly developed cortex of cerebrum enable us to think, reason out, invent, plan and memorize. The other very important function of cerebrum, that is, it controls all voluntary actions such as walking, writing, etc. While writing this function, you have to remember this term. It controls all voluntary actions. You don't stop with that point. You have to write such as, you have to write the examples. Walking, writing, jumping, running, any voluntary actions you have to include in this function. The next important part of brain, that is cerebellum. Cerebellum also known as little brain. Where is the location of cerebellum? This is cerebellum. It is located just at the base and under the large cerebrum. Is just at the base and under the large cerebrum. It has no convolutions, no foldings, but it has grooves. Furrows are there. Here you can see furrows are there. Outer cortex, in this cerebellum, the outer cortex region. Outer region is cortex. This outer cortex made up of grey matter. In cerebrum also, the outer cortex made up of grey matter. All of you know that grey matter consists of cell bodies or perikaryon of neuron or cytone of neuron. Then outer cortex consists of grey matter. Then inner medulla region consists of white matter. White matter made up of axons of neurons. Then it appears like a branching tree. This cerebellum appears like a branching tree. What is the function of cerebellum? Cerebellum maintains a balance of the body and coordinates muscular activities such as walking, writing, etc. Very important. Yes, in cerebrum, yes, it controls muscular activity or voluntary activity, but cerebellum coordinate, very important, coordinate muscular activity such as walking, writing, jumping, running, etc. You have to write the examples also, very important. The impulse that performs a muscular act originate in the cerebrum and not in the cerebellum. This muscular action originating in the cerebrum, then coordination happens in cerebellum. An alcoholic person unable to coordinate muscular movements. This is due to cerebellum. Cerebellum is coordinates that affects the cerebellum. That alcohol is affects the cerebellum. That's why an alcoholic person unable to coordinate muscular movements. Next main structure of brain, that is medulla oblongata. This medulla oblongata is located the lowest portion of the brain. Here you can see this is the brain, the lowest portion of the brain located at the base of the skull. This is skull. Then it is located, medulla oblongata is located at the base of the skull. It is continued behind a spinal cord. It is continued behind a spinal cord. What is the function of medulla oblongata? It controls the involuntary activities of the internal organs, such as peristaltic movement of the alimentary canal, movement of breathing, the beating of the heart, etc. All involuntary actions controlled by medulla oblongata. Any injury happens in medulla oblongata generally results in death. Why? Because it controls all involuntary actions. Medulla oblongata controls all involuntary actions. Revision. Exam-based questions and answers we are discussing here. Write the technical terms of the following. First question. The structure that sends messages from one cerebral hemisphere to another cerebral hemisphere. That is Corpus Callosum. The organ that controls the voluntary actions. Cerebrum. The organ that controls involuntary actions. Medulla oblongata. You don't write only medulla. That will confuse with cerebral medulla and medulla of cerebellum. That's why you have to write medulla oblongata. The organs that coordinate voluntary actions. The organ that coordinate voluntary actions. What is that? Cerebellum. The protective covering of the brain. Meninges. The innermost highly vascular membrane of meninges. Pia mater. You know that the middle layer of meninges, arachnoid, the outer layer of meninges, dura mater. Write the functions of the following. First one, cerebrum. Cerebrum controls all voluntary actions such as jumping, running, writing, etc. You have to write the examples. Cerebellum coordinate all voluntary actions such as, again you have to write the examples such as writing, jumping, running, swimming, etc. Medulla oblongata, it controls all involuntary actions such as peristaltic movement of alimentary canal, beating of the heart, breathing movement, etc. Then the next one, corpus callosum. It transfers messages from one cerebral hemisphere to another cerebral hemisphere. Then the last one, meninges. What is the function of meninges? Meninges protects the brain. Write the location of the following. First one, cerebellum. Where is it located? It is located at the base and under the large cerebrum. Medulla Oblongata. Where is the location of medulla oblongata? Medulla oblongata is the lowest portion of the brain located at the base of the skull. You have to write the location is, it is located at the base of the skull. Arachnoid. Where is the location of arachnoid? Arachnoid is the middle layer of meninges. It is located between dura mater and pia mater. Pia mater, it is the innermost layer of meninges. It is located just below the arachnoid. Dura mater, it is the outermost layer of meninges. It is located just above the arachnoid. Then corpus callosum. Here is the location of corpus callosum. It is located between two cerebral hemispheres. Thank you, children. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Have a good day.